Hi, I'm Patrick Gorsey from the Morris Car Club at South Australia, and I'm here joined with another member of our club, Chris Stone. And Chris and I today are going to look at a valuable part of car maintenance on our little beloved Morris Minors, because it recently became apparent to me, because in our system here in this state, we have a logbook where we fill in for registration. And I always put down the mileage when I fill up my tank, and I worked out over the 3-year period of time, Chris, I'd actually done nearly 5,000 miles in my car. And while I know I'd changed the oil, changed filters, and even coolants in that time, I don't think I ever did anything else really rather than that. And I feel like I've been a really bad Morris parent. And so my beloved little girl here, Minty, today, Chris is going to show me the type of maintenance that I should be carrying out. And if we think back about, we ever grab those books, I know we all find them from time to time, the books that come with our cars. But if we ever look at them, they actually talk about mileage and things happening every 500 miles. Is that correct, Chris?
Indeed.
So, to get myself back in the good books, I've asked Chris here, who's a qualified mechanic. He's born in the country. You might have picked up by the accent. He's born in the country of our little beloved car, and has worked on many of them. He's going to show us today how to grease my nipples. So, Chris, tell me, what is it we need today to carry out this essential work?
Right, the main thing we need is a Morris Minor, and we've got a lovely little Minty. Some wheel chocks to obviously make sure the car doesn't move. A jack, and obviously tools, and most importantly, axle stand and a grease gun. So the first thing we're going to do is jack the car up with the wheel on, and then check to make sure everything's okay. So at the same time, we can check the wheel bearings, and we can check the trunnions to see if there is any play with them before we grease them. Okay. We put it on a nice firm area on the chassis, and before we take the vehicle up, we will just crack off the wheel nuts. And before we carry it anywhere, make sure you put an axle stand under the vehicle for your own safety. And now just have a little check and make sure everything's okay.
What do you see, Chris? I'm very interested to know.
Well, you have a little bit of play on one of the track rod ends here.
Okay. So Chris, tell me, what have you noticed straight away when you've taken this wheel off?
Right, as you can see, the rubber gaiter on the rod end is deteriorated. I mean, it is replaceable, so you could just get another one replacement and just take the nut off and then replace it. It keeps the grease in and it keeps the moisture and water out. So it is quite fundamental.
Okay.
Right. So before we go to greasing anything, we just get a clean rag and just wipe over the top, just to make sure no dirt will go into the joint as we're greasing it.
Which would have probably been better if the joint had the rubber thing underneath it.
Yes.
But this will I guess this is going to show us the grease really going in,
Yes.
isn't it, Chris?
So if you just place it on the top
Okay.
and make it square,
Yep.
a couple of pumps, and in a minute, because you'll see, oh, it's taking lots of grease, so that's good.
Oh, yes. I can see it coming out the back there, Greg.
There you go.
Yep.
And that's it. And you see the grease coming out the back.
Oh, look at that.
Because obviously this gator is obviously gone, but normally you wouldn't lose that much for it.
Right.
So, and then again, just then on the top, there's one on the top.
So how many of the nipples are over this side to grease?
Right, on this one you have one on the rod end, one on the top trunnion, and one on the bottom trunnion. There's also one on the bottom trunnion just there.
Oh, yes.
Right. On the vehicle, there will also be one on the prop shaft on each end,
Right.
universal joint, or Harley Spicer. Not on this one because this is a nice early model, but the later Morrises would have one each on the handbrake cable.
Okay.
But because it is a low light, they won't have them. So again, you just put it on nice and square. Give it a squeeze. And you can hear the grease coming out straight away. So that's nice and greased.
And then you come out here at the bottom.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Right.
On the bottom here.
There.
So that one again, nicely greased. And then again, the bottom one. Again, we'll clean it off before we do it.
Oh, yes, we can see grease poking out the
And all
top
done.
of here. Excellent.
And that's all greased. All done. All nicely greased, all serviced on this side.
Now, Chris, that's taken less than 3 minutes to go through, point out parts and grease those nipples. If you weren't speaking to me, you could have probably done that in about 30 seconds. Is that right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't take long at all.
And how essential do you consider that as maintenance to a Morris?
Massively, because these are prone for failing the trunnions to actually wear and actually collapse. They're very prone for it, and they always have been. But like I said, for no time at all, you can grease all the trunnions, you can grease everything up, and basically keep it going.
Thank you very much, Chris. Really appreciate it. Well, we might let's move on to maybe another part. Anything at the back of the car, Chris? What do we have at
the only thing, obviously, like I said, is the prop shaft, which obviously you have to have the car a lot higher for that. But again, there's two, one on each end. On this one, because obviously it is a low light. On the later one, there's only one at the rear.
Right.
So grease. Sometimes they haven't got the greasable at the front. But again, this is an early one, so we can grease front and rear, and obviously we've got the other side to do.
Excellent. Let's go over and check out that other side. So Chris, we're now on the other side. I see you've set up everything exactly the same. I see you've got the jack with the timber and the stand. So nothing's different. You've got the wheel loosened, just cracked, is that right?
Cracked, yep, to make it easier.
Okay.
Take off.
So take us through what we do at this point now, so that someone has an idea, again, of what to do.
Right, obviously with the vehicle, the wheel is not touching the ground. You just grab it on the top and the bottom, and you pull it up and down, and you will see if there's any play in any top or bottom trunnion.
Right.
Which is what we're trying to obviously grease out now, so obviously if there is any. And then just again, side to side, which again is checking the track rod end and the track rod arm.
Okay.
At the same time, we're going to be obviously checking the wheel bearing. If we move it, obviously, if there is a play, you have to find out what it is, because if you just go up and down, doesn't just mean it's the top or bottom trunnion, it could also be the wheel bearing.
Right.
So you have to obviously work out what it is, obviously by a process of elimination. But this one, it's all good, there's no play at all.
Okay.
So You'll just take the wheel off to grease the joinings again. Take in mind you can do it without removing the wheel, but for this particular situation, we're going to do it to make it easier.
So just saying that, Chris, you're saying show us, point to the nipple there. So
there's one there.
One greasy nipple there.
If you turn the steering on full lock, there's one on top.
To the back there.
And if you lay it on the floor, there's one at the bottom.
So while it is secure on there, it would be very easy and comfortable to do without removing the wheel?
Yes, but obviously to make it easier, we just remove it. And again, nice clean wrap just to make sure everything's clean. So we'll just wipe it off. That's it. The grease gun. Push it on. And you can hear straight away the noise of it coming out. So that one's already greased, that's perfect.
Chris just oozing out the back there, that's excellent.
And again.
And what's this one's boot like?
This one's actually alright.
Okay.
So again, just put it on straight. Couple of pumps.
Oh yeah, and there it is coming out
And
the
there
back.
it is. And then off it comes. And a little bit more awkward, but it needs to be done.
Yep. Oh yeah, we can see the grease just starting to come out of that one.
And there you go. All done.
Chris, thank you very much. That's, I think that's shown it very clearly of what to do. And while one of the things we did touch on before, while the book did say around every 500 miles originally, you'd say with, okay, more modern greases, that wouldn't extend to 5,000 miles to make me feel better.
Well, I could, but I would be incorrect.
Okay.
But no, I mean, look, when obviously the manual was written, it said 500 miles because they were daily uses. Obviously now people can do quite a fair few Ks miles in your car. A lot of people don't do that many miles or Ks in their vehicles, and they do sit around for quite a period of time. So if it's not been doing the K, it's still worth doing once a year.
So it's still essential, whether it's 500 miles or just a year of sitting. Okay, thanks, Chris.